but so many founders are missing the mark. And why is that exactly? Well, it's honestly pretty simple. Most customers do not care how the product was built. At the end of the day, they just want a product that works and that fits.
Honestly, this is very true and it's very niche. Unless it's like a gaming computer or gaming console, something that has a chipset in it, for example, like what GPU, CPU, what cooling system, what kind of fan, stuff like that definitely has more of an interest there. But that's more niche, nerdy kind of things. My friends want to start a sock business. They wanted to do like a beginning, middle, and end journey. Just a soft launch at the same time having free advertisement by advertising the startup. It's something I've been researching in my own time, just trying to figure out if it's feasible or not. I've not really gone too deep into business because it's not something that really interests me. I prefer more creative stuff. I've been doing a lot of research and I come across a video that's quite fascinating. So I'm going to be reacting to this video. Why build a public doesn't work. I have no clue. Let's have a look.
Hashtag build in public, where you post about your startup all over the internet and build it in front of other people, is dead. Well, actually, it never really worked all that well to begin with.
That's sassy. I like this guy.
Now, the purpose of building in public is to showcase your progress on a new project or a startup.
My vibe from it straight away is just, when I first heard about doing it, I just kind of thought it was just free advertisement. Trailers to a game, but trailers to your business,
It really only works if two important criteria are met. The first is that the customer is interested in seeing what you're actually building. And the second is that the customer actually has the money to buy the product that you're creating. And there's really only these two things that you have to hit.
That's why you have to have a nice marketing team, I guess.
But so many founders are missing the mark. And why is that exactly? Well, it's honestly pretty simple. Most customers do not care how the product was built. At the end of the day, they just want a product that works and that fits.
Honestly, this is very true and it's very niche. Unless it's like a gaming computer or like a gaming console, and something that has a chipset in it, for example, like what GPU, CPU, what cooling system, what kind of fan, stuff like that definitely has more of an interest there. But that's more niche, nerdy kind of things.
Their needs. They don't necessarily care about all the pain and trials and tribulations and struggles you went through to build the thing. Only people that might care about the process of building a startup are other people building startups. Here's where the real problem comes in. Most people that are, building startups, maybe they're solopreneurs or indie hackers, or they're putting together a bunch of random little projects, they probably don't have any money to spend on other tools that will help them. So this is something that I see consistently over.
But I feel like one can only dream, I guess. I think sometimes when you don't have the money now, it is good to lay the foundation, to do some market research, because the foundation is really important. Like, I don't have money now, but I'm still going to view your content quite heavily. I might not invest in the idea per se, but I will watch the content and like share it with friends and talk about it, say how cool this idea is. And I think the word of the mouth is always an interesting way of making business. It's like, look at Tesla. Them guys never have an advert on.
And over again. And so
did I just compare a random startup to Tesla? Oof, apologies.
A common scenario goes something like this. Basically, you have an indie hacker or a founder that wants to, build in public, and they're building a tool that's tailored towards other tech startups, basically, other people that are also building tools. That's what their tool does, is tailored to people that are also building tools. So they'll spend several months, or sometimes I've seen years, building in public, and they might even get a decent following. They might build up some interest in their product. And I just want to point out right here that interest in your product is not sales of your product, but they might get interest. They might get a following around what they're building, and so then they'll do some kind of launch.
And that's what I was saying. A following is really important. Sometimes it helps.
Whatever, and they'll end up with next to nothing. Maybe they'll make a few $100s or even $1,000 or something, but at the end of the day, for a huge launch after building in public all this time, they didn't really get much of anything. And then they'll spend the next year or two crawling and scratching and gnawing and biting, struggling and fighting for every single customer that they're trying to acquire. So why was this so hard? Why do so many founders have this issue? And the reason is it's just a poorly positioned offer in a not so rich niche. Selling products to other bootstrap founders that probably don't have a lot of capital is a really great recipe for a long and painful journey of trying to acquire customers and keep them on your subscription.
I do wonder what companies exist that did that methodology and failed brutally. I'd like to examples of that. Maybe I'll be able to put that post-production.
Of course, because like I said, most bootstrap founders who don't have any venture capital laying around, they just have no excess capital. They don't have any money to spend on products, even if it would help them, right? So maybe as you're building in public, again, you're maybe gaining interest. Those people actually would like to buy your product. Maybe the product is useful and helpful, but it's targeted at a niche that can't afford the solution. At the end of the day, can this work? Can this process work?
It can work. From what I'm hearing, I'm not 100% understanding this. So anyone corrects me in the comments. I would love some engagement because it's something that I'm going to have to do moving forward, possibly.
Your product, maybe the product is useful and helpful, but it's targeted at a niche that can't afford the solution. At the end of the day, can this work? Can this process work? Of course it can. Like, you can fit a square block into a round hole if you try really hard, but it's not going to be easy. And so, like, honestly, starting a business,
So I would say it is possible. It doesn't sound impossible. It just sounds hard. I think that's the message he's trying to convey, essentially. Consistency is key.
Startup is already challenging enough. Like, why would you want to make it harder than it already is? The key takeaway from
I don't know about it make it harder per se. If you have, for example, someone in your team that's good at editing, making videos, you could actually get monetized. So a lot of the time that you're using to spend to like document what you're doing can put you in a financial place where it's positive. It outweighs the negative of using your time, because time is money, my friend. It's the best currency in the world.
This is to make sure that the niche that you're building a product for has disposable income that they can buy your product. Now, if you're just building in public because you're using it to hold yourself accountable and make progress, that's totally fine. But you have to understand this isn't a marketing tactic, unless, again, those two criteria.
No, it definitely is a marketing. It definitely is. And I'm coming in new to this, so I might be wrong. It feels like it's a very good market. It's just how it's executed. If you execute it right, it will be nice. If you don't execute it right, it will be garbage.
The people that you're building it for actually care about watching you build it, and they have the money to buy the product once you're actually done building it. If you don't hit those two criteria,
a lot of people will be watching it, and depending on how long it takes to make this startup or product, could just be sitting there saving every single penny they have to make sure they have this service item or whatever you build.
Building in public is frankly a waste of your time, and you could be using that time to better market your product, or honestly build a different product that's better targeted to a more, I won't even say wealthy niche, but just a niche that has capital that they can allocate towards the solution that you're trying to fulfill. So I hope you...
That's interesting. There's something I have to look into a bit more. I don't know if he's put me off or he's made me a bit more passionate. I do like hard things. Jesus Christ, that sounds I do like a challenge. A challenge is definitely something that fascinates me. But yeah, like, subscribe, and please drop a comment if I misunderstood that whole situation. It's the first time watching the video, and it's something that, if you want to get my socks in the future, give me a shout. My socks, our socks. But yeah, sweet. Easy.